Hi everyone, this is Soumya Paul, a mentor at CodeCurtus and a software developer at Amazon, and I welcome all of you to day 14 of our system design series. Now in today's video, we will be learning about one more new interesting concept. Now till now, we have learned about a lot of concepts, lot of terms. First we learned what is latency, then we learned what is throughput. Okay. Then after throughput, we learned what is bandwidth. We learned what is bandwidth. Now, after bandwidth, we learned what is availability. So, after bandwidth, we saw what is availability. And then after availability, we saw in the last video what is consistency. We saw what are consistent systems. We saw what are inconsistent systems. Then we saw what are distributed systems. Now, we have seen so many terms. We have understood so many terms. Now we'll understand one more term, one more concept. And after that, this will be the very last concept we need to learn. And after that, we will jump into more complex topics and more complex concepts of system design from our next video. And today's topic is something called as fault tolerance. Fault tolerance. Okay. This is also called as partition tolerance. Partition tolerance. Partition tolerance. Now, what does this mean? Fault tolerance or partition tolerance means the ability of the system to recover automatically from a node failure. Okay. So for example, we have multiple servers. Say I have a load balancer here, and there are a lot of customers here, lots of customers. Okay. And behind this load balancer, I have a few servers, server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4. All of these servers are serving load to all these customers that I have. And the load balancer is deciding which server will be sent to it. Okay. Okay, my bad. Yeah. So load balancer decides which server will receive that request, and then it will also send the response. Now suppose, what if out of all these 4 servers, all of a sudden one server fails? There is a server crash. This particular server fails. What will happen? Should the load balancer all of a sudden say, oh, hey, please don't send us requests. One of our servers has failed, so we are under maintenance mode. So we will not take any requests or any traffic right now. That's a very poor user experience, isn't it? That's a very poor user experience. That is something we won't do. Just like servers, suppose you have a server, or you can have multiple servers, server 1, server 2, you have multiple databases. You have DB1, you have DB2, pardon my drawing, you have DB3, okay. You have DB4, okay. Now you have multiple databases. Now they may be catering to the same data if we are doing data replication, or they may be catering to different partitions of the data if we are talking about sharding. And if you don't know what replication is, what sharding is, don't worry, we will be talking about this in the future videos. But yeah, the point is that if I have 4 databases, and what if one of the database suddenly crashes? What happens then? What happens to the data stored here? What happens to any new data which is coming to get stored here? What happens to those things? So, as a system, we should build systems which are smart enough, which are intelligent enough, that even if a node or 2 fails, the system knows how to recover it. What to do in such scenarios? What to do with the data stored there? What to do with the new requests incoming which were supposed to be sent to that particular database? Now see, a node can be anything. A node can be a server, it can be a database, anything. Okay. So this ability of a system to recover automatically from a node failure is called as fault tolerance and partition tolerance. And yes, you guessed it right. As good developers, as good architects, as good engineers, it is our job to build fantastic systems which are very, very, very highly fault tolerant and partition tolerant. Okay. So a system which doesn't fails, a system which can easily handle any node failure, is called a fault tolerant system. So as good engineers, our job is to build fault tolerant systems. Okay, this is what we are supposed to do. Okay. So now that you have understood all these things, you've understood what latency is, what throughput is, bandwidth, availability, consistency, distributed systems, and now fault tolerance. From the next video, we will be learning about some more important and complex concepts. And yes, if you are thinking that, hey, we learned what is a fault tolerant system, but how do we make it fault tolerant? I don't know that. As a good engineer, I want to be a good engineer. How do I make a system fault tolerant? So don't worry, that is something we'll see in the future classes, future videos. Okay. So that's it for this video, and if you want to learn these concepts in a much more complex way, in a much more in-depth way, and want to prepare for top-notch product-based companies from developers who themselves are working at Mang companies and have 5+ years of experience, then do join Code Gardos.